Radio, TV, and even the press say what's the meaning of VAPORS? The kind of word to something, 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 to something. It means nobody want to be there when you're down and out. Now, when you're established and got a lot of money, everybody want to be your buddy and honey. Like tall buildings they call skyscrapers. Fricka, 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 fricka. Can you feel it? Nothing can save ya, but this is the season for catching the vapors. What it do, Fire Fam? How y'all feeling out here today? It is Burn It Down with Kim Brown time. Y'all know what time it is. It is 5 p.m. on the clock on a Tuesday. This is the safe space where we set oppression ablaze, baby. Nobody is safe. Anyone can get it, even fans in the stands. But hold on. Shout out to all the fans in the stands. Who we got up in here? We got them BIDWKB All-Stars. I see you, Alicia. I see you, Wakata. I see you, Liu Kang. I see you, Toby Swollen. Fran and French, you know I see you. Norva Witch is in the building. Ah! I'd love to see. David Silberg, hello, sir. David Silberg said in the chat the other morning on the Remix Morning Show on Black Power Media that he is his own favorite white person. And sir, that is a sentiment I can get behind. And I support that, David Silberg. Be your own favorite white people out here, white people. That is perfectly fine. But be an example that the other whites can follow. A la the John Brown Brigade. We've had these conversations before. Anyway, Courtney the SOP. Hello, sweetheart. I'm so happy to see you. What's up, Dr. Claus 77? I'm so glad to see all y'all in the building. What's going on, Patty P? Guys, it is showtime. I'm so grateful you all are here. Family, it's a big day. It's election day 2021. And wow, this is very much an off election cycle. It is of great import depending on which races that you are watching. And gang, we have been following a number of races here on Burn It Down with Kim Brown. Of course, that Buffalo mayoral race, India Walton rolling up her sleeves, ready to knock niggas out. We with it. We are 100% on board with that. Also, our girl Princess Blanding. Y'all, listen. Y'all seen the title of the show, right? If McAuliffe loses, Democrats better blame themselves and not progressives. They are already prepared to blame Princess Blanding for being a Democratic spoiler. Pardon me, a spoiler to Democrat Terry McAuliffe. Of course, we know Princess Blanding is running as a member of the Liberation Party, but she's getting enough that it could be a game changer in this very tight race between the Democrat and the Republican in Virginia. And congressional Democrats are already crying. It was like, oh man, see, if the progressives in Congress would have just passed our bipartisan spending infrastructure bill as is, we could have sent Joey B over across to Glasgow, Scotland for the big COP22 UN environmental, climate change conference. We could have sent them over there with a win, but no, the progressives wanted to be difficult. No. Y'all decided to continue and maintain the status quo and still be terrible. Okay. You could have got some support if you'd have got with the program, if you'd have been listening to your constituents, if you'd have been listening to the progressive members of your caucus, but we shall get into that a little bit later. The other thing I want to get into today, guys, coming up later in the program, we've been following the Howard students, guys. I mean, this is important because this is a human rights issue that these students at Howard University are facing against their own university, right? HBCU is intentionally making life difficult for its own students. And for a long time, and I encourage you all, by the way, to check out Dr. Jared Ball's ongoing project about HBCUs. It's not a different world. I mean, it's not a proud moment, or rather a badge of honor, to say that you stayed in a dorm that didn't have no air, that had mold in the walls, and oh, it was so rough we had to walk to class 5 inches in the Nobody wants to hear that shit in the 21st century, man. Come correct with these children and their families, and most importantly, come correct with the amount of coin that you are charging these young folks for substandard conditions. And by the way, y'all, it is raining in DC right now. It is cold in DC right now. The temperature has plummeted quite a bit in these past couple of days. We are only, I think, in the mid 50s right now. They're calling for a freeze warning tonight. Those students at the Blackburn takeover are out there in tents. So keep in mind how dedicated they are to their cause. And we're going to talk about how much support they are getting from the DMV community and from Howard alum also. And we're also going to take a look at what's going on in Minneapolis. There is a mayoral race happening there. Jacob Frey, the progressives want to get him up out the paint, but less so focusing on the individual, or rather the personality of the mayoral race. Take a look at some of those ballot initiatives that Minneapolisonians, I don't know what people from Minneapolis call themselves. I'm going to call them Minneapolisonians until I know better. The Minneapolisonians up there, they are with the shits. They got these ballot initiatives on the ballots, even though they do not have universal support. One of them calls for reimagining the city of Minneapolis's entire charter, which has a specific number of police that it requires to be on the force. And they want to do away with that and reallocate those funds to a more holistic perspective of public safety, especially when it comes to dealing with people who are experiencing mental health crises. So we'll take a look at that. And we'll also talk about why the Minneapolis police chief is in trouble. He is in trouble. He got up there and shot off his big mouth talking about, this ain't a good idea. I don't think this is good. And it's like, nigga, you the police chief. You know what I'm saying? Stick to chief and the police, dog. If you don't like the shit, then vote against it. But don't get up here and hold a whole press conference and tell anyone in shouting distance that this is something that you don't support. That is not exactly your role. So, and before we get into it, I have an announcement. Today, do we have that graphic? Can we throw up the graphic? Because guys, remember over the summer, we did a fundraiser. Okay, everybody, put your money back in your wallet. don't make it rain on us just yet. Because we are not asking for money. What we want is for you all to kindly spread the word, if you could, about Burn It Down with Kim Brown here on YouTube. We're trying to get our subscribers up. We're trying to get our numbers up all around social media. Now listen, honestly, in less than a year, I'm not unhappy, honestly, with where we are, because God damn it, we was started fucking zero. You dig? We started from the bottom. Now we here. And on YouTube, here we are at a little over 2,200. I think our next biggest follow place is Twitter, where we have just shy of 1,700 followers. I don't be on Facebook. I don't know what the fuck we are on Facebook. And I think we got over 100 followers on Instagram. So if you guys could help us for the next 2 weeks, we're going to be encouraging you to share the content and to tell your network to follow and subscribe. But we're going to throw a little bit of an incentive in there for you, because we have merch forthcoming. Yes, we have heard the demands. The streets have been calling for it, and we like, yes, streets, we will answer. So we have merch forthcoming. So if you are able to have the new subscriber and or follower on any given social media program, whatever, tag us and have them tag you. We're going on the honor system here, y'all. We're not sending the algorithm into the matrix to try to figure out who sent who where, but to just give us a rough idea as to who is sending our new folks our way. We want to know so we can reward you with some fruits of undetermined much. But the much is forthcoming, the much. So do us a favor, participate with us if you could in our subscriber drive. Let's keep that fire lit. Let's keep that ganja burning. Let's keep them fires roaring out here on Burn It Down with Kim Brown. We certainly would appreciate it. What's up, a lady 747? Afraid not. Thomas Rowley. Yes, Lord. Oh, what's up, Schultzy? And Anna Hart, yes. Rain the Sun, yes. I be so excited to see y'all in here, man, because like y'all be in here with us every Tuesday and Friday, just about when y'all are able. And listen, I so appreciate that so much. So anyway, without further ado, let us commence the program. Oh, wait, before we commence the program, of course, Stoner moment. By the way, shout out to everyone who was tuned in this morning to Black Power Media, to I Mix What I Like in the Remix Morning Show. I enjoy my comrades over there very much, and I appreciate Jared Ball putting into words what I was thinking about the Colin Kaepernick thing. I know this is not necessarily on the agenda. I just wanted to say this here because Jared has talked about Colin Kaepernick for 2 consecutive mornings, and I doubt he's going to extend it to a third to accommodate me tomorrow morning. So I just wanted to say this real quick. So if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, the Netflix special Colin in Black and White premiered over the weekend, produced and directed, I believe, by Ava DuVernay. And I'm watching this, I'm watching the first episode, and I'm like, wait, the fuck is this? Is this Everybody Hates Colin? This is not what I was expecting. I was disarmed from the onset because I thought it was going to be some shit talking about how Colin was organizing and Colin was doing the Know Your Rights campaign and Colin was giving money to this grassroots liberation organization and this one and that one. And I'm like, nigga, what is it? I don't understand what I'm looking at. So first episode and the second episode, I'm just watching the junk like, and I couldn't necessarily put into words. I was not able to put my finger on why I was so annoyed at that Colin Kaepernick thing. Now, in terms of it being, was it well produced? Sure. But it was laden with such neoliberal nonsense. And to the extent that Colin, as a biracial boy growing up in a household, I can empathize with that. I mean, that's not my experience, but I can assume, how off-putting that may have been for him at times. But guess what? It looked like the mortgage was paid over there at the Kaepernick household. It didn't look like Colin was missing meals. So I said that to say, his experience dealing with racial microaggressions from white people is something that I think people who grew up or went to school with majority white people can totally understand. Now, is that traumatizing on some level? Kinda. It depends. But on the continuum of trauma, you know what I'm saying? And I went to school with white people who called me nigga. You understand? Like, whatever. Okay. Either way, Colin still got his shit together at the end of the day. And as Jared pointed out, the white man stamp of approval that he was, bemoaning in his docuseries is actually, at the end of the day, is what he is basically telling people to aspire to. Like, hey, you can power through all this racism. You can power through all this oppression. And one day the white man will eventually grant you a stamp of approval. You just keep on keeping on. And if you haven't seen today's episode of the Remix Morning Show or yesterday's episode of A Mix What I Like, go back and watch Jared's comments on it, because I really thought they were spot on. You understand? Like, what Colin is preaching here is nothing radical. And, when you have a Nike endorsement and you have been broke off by probably tens of millions of dollars by the NFL in order to buy your silence, your radicalism is reduced, and it needs to be looked at through a very critical lens. I appreciate what Colin did. I understand his sacrifice. At the end of the day, Colin was never missing meals. Colin still ain't missing meals. And the condition of our people has not materially improved. Despite his sacrifice, his own bottom line has been enriched. And the only way that he's able to do things like Netflix and his Nike campaign, etc., is because at a certain level, he still has the tacit approval of white corporate America, or we wouldn't even talk about Colin on fucking Netflix. So anyway, that's that. What'd you say, Pookie Wood? Do I need to scroll up? You out here cracking jokes. Don't let me miss the jokes. I want to laugh too. Chat. Anyway, but I just wanted to say that because, like I said, I don't think Jared's gonna stretch that thing out for a third day, so I can add my little 2 cents. So I said, you know what, goddamn it, I got my 2 cents. Let me add them shits right now off the tippy. But anyway, election day, yay! Like everyone has been talking about, really the eyes of the country are focused on what's happening in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Where's Lateef? Y'all better, if y'all see Lateef in here, y'all better tell Lateef he had better voted early, or his ass better be going to vote today, Lateef, because Princess Blanding needs all the votes she can get in order to fuck up Terry McAuliffe's would-be celebration party. and listen, please, if we have any Virginians in the building, I am not unsympathetic at all to what your choices are, right? But at the end of the day, it still comes down to the lesser of two fucking evils. We're still talking about two straight, rich, white men, Christian business owners in the pockets of corporate America all the way, right? Like, on paper, I'm sure there's not much difference between Terry McAuliffe and Glenn Youngkin. And to be quite honest, the fact that Glenn Youngkin is even keeping this fucking race competitive tells you everything you need to know about Democrats, right? That Glenn Youngkin, a political novice, a person who has never before held elected office. I know y'all be like, well, Trump did shit. Yeah, but that shit didn't used to be standard, okay? Like, now Republicans just think that just because they was a CEO of something and they managed to clear X amount of profit and revenue for their shareholders, that makes them qualified to hold office. Bull fucking shit. But at the same time, the reason why Glenn Youngkin has managed to keep such a competitive race is because Terry McAuliffe is not a good candidate. Despite the fact that he has been governor before, apparently is not helping him much in the eyes of most Virginian voters. So as we are headed into now the final hours, polls are still open. I think polls in Virginia close at 8. So we got a few hours left. Now, even though there's a light rain here in the district, they have been reporting very good turnout, I say in the district, in the DMV area. Northern Virginia has been reporting a pretty good turnout. What actually may determine this race is going to be the outcome of the early votes. There was an early voting period that ended, I want to say Saturday, and 1.2 million people cast their votes early, which is a lot. And a shout out to Hampton Roads, 7 Cities, Williamsburg. They said those areas have already come out with 200,000 early votes already. We could pop up A1 at your convenience there today. But yes, so 1 million registered voters have already cast their ballots in this year's high-profile gubernatorial election. This is going to be interesting. Now, okay, so here's what Terry McAuliffe is running on. Number one, he's trying to keep Glenn Youngkin as a Trumper, which I guess, nigga. I mean, Trump lost Virginia to Joe Biden. So, okay. All right. I mean, that probably is enough to sway some people, but Donald Trump is not on the ballot at the end of the fucking day, right? And I don't think that the argument has been successfully sticking to Glenn Youngkin, because Glenn Youngkin is not running as a Trump acolyte. In fact, he has made concerted efforts to distance himself publicly from Donald Trump. Trump has not come to Virginia to stump for Youngkin at all. And my guess would be that would have been at Glenn Youngkin's request. He probably appreciates Trump's support, but he understands that Trump could be toxic and would turn off all of the liberal, blue, Northern Virginia parts of Virginia and down in the southeastern corner of the state as well. So there's that. So all the polls have this at a statistical heat, some even giving Youngkin the slight edge over McAuliffe. I'm sure Democrats are shitting their fucking pants off these fellas. I mean, this is it, right? This is one of the first major tests of the Biden presidency, the first big election. I mean, Virginia's big. Virginia's a swing state in national campaigns, yeah? And Virginia has gone blue for a decade now and some change. If Joe Biden gets in office and starts losing states like Virginia and Pennsylvania, Wisconsin and Ohio and Michigan, well, what's your problem? It could be a problem. But here's a big problem for Terry McAuliffe that we're starting to hear some rumbles about. But Princess Blanding, y'all, the Liberation Party candidate from Central Virginia, who is an educator, who is a mother, who has a plan for working Virginians, who wants housing for all, who wants Medicare for all, who wants comprehensive either police reform or outright defunding and abolish the police. She has experienced the tragedy of police violence in her family firsthand when the police killed her brother. And they're already gearing up to point fingers at Princess Blanding because she's polling at 2%. And again, in a statistical dead heat, 2% could make the difference between a winner and a loser, correct? So she spoke with BNC News the other day. Anyway, she got on BNC News. Let me just say that. A2 at your convenience there today. And so she was asked about being a spoiler for Terry McAuliffe. And I love Princess Blanding. I am now and probably ongoing will be a Princess Blanding fan because sis gets it. Sis spits it straight as a friggin' arrow, and she don't hold back. Let's take a listen to what Princess Blanding had to say when asked about her possibly fucking up the race for Terry McAuliffe.
The Democratic Party needs to understand that they are not entitled to our votes. It is their job to earn our votes. I am not considered a spoiler. If we want to have a conversation about a spoiler, the Democratic Party is considered a spoiler because they are very selfish and they feel that they are entitled to our votes. However, they continuously underdeliver. People are tired of being put in a position where they have to choose between the lesser of two evils. Terry McAuliffe does not fight for, nor does he represent, the votes that he's seeking, So again, it's all about, the narrative that is pushed out. And if people are truly concerned that me running is going to cause the Republican to win, then I advise them have a conversation with Terry McAuliffe and tell him to step down.
Well, 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 well. Princess spits nothing but facts at you ends. Woo! Well, there's that. Listen, and that's the other part. That's the wild part about this whole entire gubernatorial race, by the way, in Virginia. Like, y'all, mind you, Terry McAuliffe has been governor already. Like, he has already been governor. So it just goes to show you how shallow the talent pool is over at the DNC or over at the Virginia's state Democratic. Blah, 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 blah. And like, really, nigga, y'all had to reach back to 2013 to find a candidate. Woo! Doesn't bode well for the future of the party. Now does it? Now, if the Democrats have been smart, they'd have been trying to get Princess on their team. But instead of trying to make her conform to their neoliberal bullshit, they should be adopting some of the Princess Blanding Liberation Party policies. If they want to get with the good shit, if they want to get on a winning squad, you feel me? Now, I understand, Princess is probably not going to win tonight, right? But if she could fuck it up for Terry McAuliffe, nigga, I'm going to laugh. I'm going to laugh long. And I'm going to show y'all real quick how much Princess Blanding, how much regard Princess Blanding has for these Democrats. So we know that tragically Princess Blanding had her brother Marcus David Peters tragically taken from their family by police violence. He was experiencing a mental health crisis. The police approached him, never gave him a chance to do anything, to react, to surrender, nothing. And there was no charges, no consequence for the officer that murdered Princess Blanding's brother. So when the Democrats, state Democrats, passed the Marcus David Peters alert bill, Princess was there at the signing. I think this was 2020, if I have that right. I hope I do. She was at the signing and she spoke. Now listen, we're going to play this clip for y'all. It's going to be 8-3 Tunde. This clip is going to start off one way. And I'm just letting y'all know it's not going the direction that y'all think it's going. Okay. So, and please understand, I don't like to play humdrum, whatever. You understand? So without giving away, I'm just going to tell y'all, listen to what Princess had to say to these people in front of their face. Okay. It starts off one way. But it quickly goes another direction. Tunde, can we take a look at that, please?
Thank you, Governor Northam, for this invitation to attend this bill signing ceremony for the Marcus Alert bill that you signed in November. I would like to thank Governor Ralph Northam, Delegate Jeff Bourne, Senator Jennifer McCullen, and let's not forget Senator McPike as well for bringing us here today at this moment. Please take a moment to pat yourselves on the back for doing exactly what this racist, corrupt system, and broken, may I also add, expected you all to do. Make the Marcus Alert bill a watered down, ineffective bill that will continue to ensure that having a mental health crisis results in a death sentence. Marcus David Peters, along with so many others, deserves help, not death. Although the Virginia Democratic Party is the majority in both the House, Senate, and yes, we do have a Democratic governor, you all have succeeded again at failing the people and making this bill, along with the CRB bill, ineffective. Let's not forget how you all killed the bill to end qualified immunity and refused to meet the 7 Richmond demands. So in summary, I say to you all, thank you again, because you all have absolutely succeeded in lighting a fire in me and so many others that is impossible to take out. I say to each and every one of you, fix it. The bill is an ineffective bill. I am going to make a change this once time in my life. And guess what, y'all? It's going to feel real good. I'm going to make a difference. Princess Blanding is going to be a part of making it right. And I'm starting with the person in the mirror, and that is me. I made a promise to my brother Marcus David Peters back in 2018, and I will do every single thing in my power to ensure that I keep that promise and continue to fight to ensure that we put community care and safety first and always, and that we ensure that Black liberation matters. Thank you.
You know the truth when you hear it. Princess Blanding. Y'all, Princess Blanding. Do not forget her name. We are going to be hearing a lot more from her beyond this gubernatorial campaign cycle. Trust and believe that. Y'all know what kind of courage and gumption it took for her to get up there and tell them people about theyself to their face for some stuff that's named for her brother, right? And I'm sure they was like, oh man, she's probably gonna be so grateful and appreciative. Don't be putting my brother's name on some bullshit, man. You dig? And I can respect that. I respect that because too often, a lot of us who are trying to aspire to be in that political space will kowtow, will be, deferential, will accommodate, will be quiet, well, let me just hush because, I'm trying to move up and I'm trying to get people to support me. So I better not say too much. Listen, your silence will not be rewarded. and like Audre Lorde said, your silence will not save you. So listen, Black women especially, say it with your whole chest. Teddy's out, everything. just say it. Ain't no point. There's no point of holding it back because, oh man, I'm fucking up all the sisters' good quotes today. Was it Zora Neale Hurston who said, oh shit, they'll murder you and then talk about how you enjoyed it or how you accepted it or how you loved it. Listen, Kev 24/7, Kev Z 24/7. Listen, I know, but y'all know this is a Black women's platform and I support our brothers. I support our non-brothers. I support everybody, but I'm team Black women first and foremost. And if y'all didn't know that already, know it now. You understand? I love y'all for sure, but we team Black women primero, first and foremost. Okay, love y'all brothers, but y'all doso. y'all second, y'all runners up around on this joint anyway. I can't speak for other nigga shit, but right here is Black women first, first. Okay, all right. So anyway, Princess Blanding, let niggas know what time it is out there in Central Virginia. I will be looking. I might actually watch MSNBC tonight. God bless me. Please just send some prayers, send some thoughts and prayers for me to watch MSNBC simply for the election results. Because shout out to my sis Sugar. Me and Sugar was DMing each other talking about, man, when the Democrats lose and that face crack. Ooh, child. I'm going to be laughing. Other races, y'all. We got some other races, of course. Buffalo, New York, probably getting the most attention in the mayoral's race that Buffalo, New York probably has ever received. And it has everything to do with who? India Walton. Who is she? Black woman out here making waves, and we love it. Pop me up that A4 if we could, Tunde, at your convenience. So, just to bring y'all up to speed, even though y'all already up to speed, obviously India Walton in June pulled off a coup when she upset the 15-year mayoral incumbent, Democratic incumbent of Buffalo, New York, Byron Brown. Byron Brown is Democratic insider. I believe he is one of Andrew Cuomo's homeboys. So you already know what kind of time Byron Brown is on. But India Walton came out of nowhere running as a Democratic socialist, won the Democratic primary. And ever since, the Democratic establishment and Republican establishment, the conservative contingent up there in Buffalo, has been marshaling all resources to make sure that she loses. Byron Brown lost, I believe, 2 court challenges to have his name added to the ballot. So Byron Brown is running a write-in campaign right now. And what we are looking at right here, this is from Emerson Polling. Shout out to the viewer who left me a comment. It said Emerson was allegedly the gold standard of polling. And viewer, pardon me for I forgot your name, honey, but I will take your word for it. I don't know. But there were some elements about this poll that were, I'm not sure if misleading is the right word, but maybe misleading is the right word. So anywho, so what this poll indicates, this poll is a week old. This is the most recent Emerson poll of this Buffalo, New York mayoral's campaign. And it indicates that Byron Brown has a 17-point lead on India Walton. So there's some elements about this poll that need to be clarified. It is a very small sample size. I believe the sample size for this poll is less than 600. I also believe within the poll, it indicates that 13% of the people who were polled are identified as Republican, right? By the way, there's not even a Republican on the ballot for mayor. So that there's that. So I am not certain a double-digit 17-point lead is the reality on the ground there in Buffalo, because same as Virginia is exactly what's going to be the make or break element for the race in Buffalo. This is a get out the vote effort, good people. Get out the vote. Y'all know India Walton is a community organizer out here, so y'all know India Walton has been beating the bushes and knocking on everybody's doors in East Buffalo like, hey, I'm sure she pulled up to people's houses blasting Rick James and everything, baby. She just letting y'all know that we busted out. Yes, she letting y'all know that she is all Buffalo all the time. But make no mistake, the corporate and moneyed powers are very much against India Walton, and they are absolutely putting their money where their mouth is. Tunde, if you could queue up for me, that would be a 5. So the good people over at More Perfect Union, y'all know we are big fans of what they do over there at More Perfect Union. Outstanding reporting and video journalism over there. So they did a 6-minute piece regarding the money and the multimillionaires who have put up lots of dough to prop up Byron Brown in an effort to derail India Walton's chance of becoming the first Democratic Socialist mayor of Buffalo. So we're not going to watch all 6 minutes, but we are going to watch about a solid 2 of them Jones. And let's see, where does this begin? So the clip of this that we're going to see has to do with the developers that Byron Brown, over the tenure of his mayoralship in Buffalo, gave sweetheart deals to, right? Like gave these Bamas real estate on the ridiculous low. Meanwhile, black areas in Buffalo continue to be underinvested, continue to have its infrastructure and all kinds of things fall apart, had blight run out of control, right? And you know, they just neglect black areas under a black mayor, right? So, I mean, but we've seen that lots of times. There's a lot of black areas that are being neglected by black mayors right the fuck now. India Walton said that's not going to be her though, right? But anyway, I don't want to get too ahead of myself. So this More Perfect Union piece is going to pick up. It's going to start talking about Byron Brown, the deals that he's given developers, and how those same developers have put a lot of money into his campaign and are working overtime to make sure that India Walton does not win. Let's take a look at that.
Under Brown, developers had gotten sweetheart deals while city housing costs spiked.
There have been a number of developers who have enjoyed sweetheart deals from the Brown administration. Among them is Nick Sinatra. A famous example is he got for $1 2 lots worth over $1 million at Canal Side.
The only color that really mattered was green. If you had it, you could develop the city, you can put in place the things that you wanted to see, not necessarily what was affordable for us and what prioritized the things that we needed.
During Brown's 15 years as mayor, Buffalo's poverty rate has increased, and homeownership fell to 24 points below the national average.
We have high rates of vacancy, and places that are being built, not for the people who live here.
43% of Buffalo households live in housing that is unaffordable, costing more than 30% of their monthly income.
So market rate apartments is not going to do the job of getting our people housed in a safe and healthy way.
I believe that I was always a community activist, but what drove me more was the actual anger, year after year, seeing no change in our community under the Brown administration.
After Walton won the primary, Byron Brown and his Trump-supporting Republican real estate developer allies launched an effort to keep him as mayor. The announcement was made at a property owned by Douglas Jamal, a multimillionaire developer whose family has contributed $15,400 to Brown since he lost the primary.
Immediately after the primary, there was a movement by patronage employees and real estate developers to encourage and garner support, financial support, for Brown to run a write-in campaign. Suddenly a flood of money came from big donors, big business people and real estate developers. First in was Carl Palladino.
Carl Palladino is a wealthy real estate developer who endorsed Trump in 2016 and 2020. Asked what he wanted to see, quote, go away in 2017, Palladino said Michelle Obama. Quote, I'd like her to return to being a male and let loose in the outback of Zimbabwe, where she lives comfortably in a cave with Maxie, the gorilla. Palladino received at least $9.6 million in Buffalo real estate tax exemptions under Brown.
Dog, right? Woo! That rich racist rhetoric, baby. please. Don't point the fingers at our trailer park brothers and sisters talking about the rednecks. The rednecks don't have nothing on the rich racist, baby. The rich racist rhetoric is amazing. Woo! And that's fucking some crazy shit he said about Michelle Obama, but I don't be like, oh, he shouldn't have said that about Michelle. Listen, my thing is this. He would have said that about anybody. He probably said that about India Walton, right? Like, Jesus. That wasn't just directed at black, that wasn't just some misogyny wall directed at Michelle Obama, nigga. That's misogyny wall enough for us all, okay? That's a misogyny wall for everybody. Jesus. Woo! So that's what India Walton's dealing with, everybody. And shout out to all the people that are on the ground up there working on India Walton's campaign. Shout out to Jesse Meyerson, who, by the way, used to show up on this show a year ago, and now he's up in Buffalo working on India Walton's campaign, which is outstanding. I know Status Quo News is up there. There's a lot of indie news agencies covering this India Walton race. So please, I encourage you, seek out Status Quo, or was it Breakthrough News? It might have been both of them, actually. So check out that radical leftist shit out. Yes. And we are here for Team India Walton. By the way, let the record reflect, when Cori Bush was seeking to become Missouri's first ever black congresswoman, they had her ass down in the polls double digits also a week out before election. So, and unless we not famously forget, Hillary Clinton was also whipping ass in the polls, allegedly. And then all of a sudden, all them MSNBC niggas was stuck on stupid when Trump came out and crip walked on election night 2016, right? Hey, nigga, take polls with a grain of salt, baby. Like, they are not written in stone, nor are they written in blood. Pollsters can and have been wrong, often and sometimes in very big ways. So I am quite confident in India Walton's chances. And I saw the comments in the chat. You guys are 100% right. Byron Brown ran as a Democrat. No, his ass should not even be allowed on the, and he is not allowed on the ballot. By the way, let's be clear. He's running as a write-in candidate. Like, he is banking on the fact that he has enough name recognition out here, enough brand familiarity, if you will, that people will just go in and write him in. So, and by the way, I bet you a bunch of conservatives / Republicans probably going to vote for Byron Brown for the simple fact that, you know, all the Red Scare tactics, all the anti-socialism, all the anti-communism rhetoric directed at India Walton is probably enough for some racists to get out there and cast a vote for Byron Brown, believe it or not. So there's that. All right. I want us to move along here because we've got some business to attend to, lads and lassies and days. Oh, is Shades in the building? I saw y'all referring to Shades. If Shades is in here, I want you guys to do me a favor and wish Shades a happy belated birthday. It was their birthday. So happy belated birthday to Shades. Happy birthday. Shades is a baby. I think Shades is like 27 years old. So wish Shades a happy belated birthday from the Fire Fam, please and thank you. Okie dokie. So the next place we're going to go, y'all, let's head on up to where the Mississippi is born, up there in Minnesota. Minneapolis, everybody. So there's a mayoral race happening in Minneapolis. I regret to inform you I have paid no attention to it, so I don't know whom Jacob Frey is in opposition to, or whether or not that person is even better than Jacob Frey. So we will leave that to the Minneapolisians to decide today. And maybe we'll talk about it on Friday. But the big thing that's happening in Minneapolis is the issue of police reform is on the ballot. So if you guys are familiar, Minneapolis is attempting to rewrite its city charter. They're doing this by voter referendum. Two of these initiatives, or at least one of them, has been challenged twice in court. People were trying to get it off of the ballot. The ballot measure prevailed. So Minneapolisonians are voting on it today. So where this obviously is controversial because the police and a number of politicians have come out for and against it. I think Keith Ellison and Ilhan Omar support yes on 2. And like Klobuchar, who are the other goofy ass liberals in Minnesota? Klobuchar and another goofy ass liberal opposes it, right? Of course, her and Keith Ellison are both police, so whatever. But anyway, so I want us to take a look really quick because the Minneapolis chief of police opposed this in a way that was really very inappropriate for him to do so. Now, I know the police do not concern themselves with actually following the rules themselves, right? Like, the rules are for us. The cops get to do what the fuck they want, right? like, let's keep it a buck. The cops are the real anarchists out here. Are they not? Are they not? At least in their conduct and their personal approach to what the law and how the law applies to them, right? So there's that. So his name is Chief Arenado. And Chief Arenado got a lot of praise during the Derek Chauvin murder trial because Chief Arenado took the stand and basically completely reamed Derek Chauvin in saying that this is not proper policing and et cetera, et cetera. You know, Derek Chauvin does not represent good police and this, that, and the third. And a lot of people stood up and clapped because he said the right thing. Like, I'm sorry, does he also not babysit his kids? You feel me? Like, no. I understand that the bar for being a good person is literally in hell. So all people have to do is just do the very bare minimum in order to be praised for their high character, etc. Bullshit. Get that shit out of here. Let's check out that B1 there, Tunde. So, Chief Arenado, this was just a few days ago, y'all. Mind you, it's election days today. So a few days ago, he calls a press conference to talk only about why this ballot measure should not be passed. It's pretty remarkable. Let's listen to Chief Arenado. And spoiler alert, he's a Negro. He's a Negro wearing a uniform and a badge, so he's automatically not to be trusted. So, and the words that are about to fall out of his mouth confirm that he is not to be trusted. So let's listen to the chief of police from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
As chief, though, here is what I can tell you ballot question number 2 will not do for you. It will not eliminate tragic incidents between police and community from ever occurring in our city. It will not reduce the disproportionate violent crime disparities involving African American victims that has been a public health crisis in our city for decades. It will not suddenly change a culture of a police department that has been in existence for 155 years. It will not engender trust or confidence in new economic and business development, tourism, and entertainment opportunities for this great city of ours. It will not help the MPD's effort to recruit, hire, and retain a diverse workforce of caring, service-dedicated professionals. And it will not make it easier for neighboring law enforcement jurisdictions to assist the city of Minneapolis in our crime reduction efforts. All the things that I just mentioned, this charter amendment ballot will not change. So then I urge you to ask yourself, what is truly the goal of this ballot question? Having a holistic approach to public safety does not require a drastic change to our city charter. The future of public safety for our city requires this, requires all of us to see each other as necessary, not to deal in absolutes, to be respectful towards one another even if we disagree, to talk with each other and not past each other. We need to inspire hope and remember that our children are watching us during this time and we have to do right by them. But I will tell you what this ballot question does not address. For every 187 black residents in our city this year, one black person's been shot, just this year alone. A black resident in Minneapolis is 480 times more likely to be shot in this city than to be involved as a victim of an officer-involved shooting. A black resident in this city is 62 times more likely to be shot and murdered in this city than be shot and killed in an officer-involved shooting. This ballot measure does not address that. And I'll say this before. The public health crisis in this city involving our African-American community is not the cause of someone wearing this uniform. Our elected officials have seen those stats and demographics for decades and have not dealt with it in a charter amendment before. So this charter amendment is supposed to change that. I believe that people are being disingenuous. And again, I absolutely support people's democratic right to vote, but 5% of a petition is not addressing the true underlying causes of the public health crisis specifically related to African Americans in this community.
Well, if the petitions are not specifically addressing the public health concerns of the black community in Minneapolis, well, clearly the police aren't either. Did you hear the man? By the way, Liu Kang has aptly named him Chief Step and Fetch It. I'll allow it. Did you hear Chief Step and Fetch It? Just get up there and talk about the decades of public health crisis that the black community has experienced, and never before has the city even thought about dealing with it through the charter amendment process. Well, sounds like it's time for new shit, does it not, Chief Step and Fetch It? Like, if you're acknowledging that some of these problems are decades long, and the elected officials' response to this public health crisis, as he repeatedly calls it, basically a crisis of over-policing in black and brown neighborhoods in Minneapolis, the politicians' response has always been to provide the police with additional funding, resources, training, like wash, rinse, repeat. That has been the policy solution for decades. And clearly, here we are at this point of the end of the decades, right? And the outcomes are the same, if not worse. And it was really rich for Chief Step and Fetch It to list off the number or the likelihood that a black person in Minneapolis will be shot or a victim of gun violence in their own community, not committed by a member of law enforcement. Well, sir, aren't you just telling on yourself that police, in fact, actually do not prevent crime? Police actually do not stop violent crime. The presence of police is not obviously enough to keep black Minneapolisonians safe out there. And he just said a lot of things. And then he hit y'all with the very rich evergreen. You know, it's about listening to each other, even though we may not agree on some things, as long as we all keep an open mind and listen respectfully. When the fuck do the police listen? They don't listen. They only listen when motherfuckers take to the streets and start tearing shit up, and they don't listen then. Right? So that whole nonsense that we need to listen to both sides, that's always some one-way propaganda bullshit that the police use to try to engage people, to even give us the illusion that they are interested in what the other side has to say. But basically, the other side being us, by the way, but basically, the only listening is supposed to be doing is us. Listen and comply, right? The top cop in Minneapolis said that he don't like it, so the rest of us, the people who live in Minnesota and Minneapolis need to fall in line. So pop up if you could for me, please, Tunde. I think it would be B2. So by the way, like I said, Chief Step and Fetch It was not supposed to get up there and do that. And the city council president of Minneapolis, I think her name is Michelle Bender. She's a lady. She filed an ethics complaint over over the police chief's news conference because, sir, you are a public servant. You understand? Chief of police is not an elected position. I believe. Oh, my phone. I have a house phone and it's ringing. What? Like, what is that? That's an appointed position, correct? So as a public servant, as a person who's accepting taxpayer dollars, it is grossly inappropriate for the chief of police to speak publicly about a ballot measure, a referendum that voters are voting on just a few short days before that election. To me, the nigga should get fired for that shit, basically. So the groups that have been organizing around the ballot measure, specifically Yes on 2, have obviously been working on this for quite some time. Where am I going here? I'm sorry. My phone is ringing and it's oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Last night we released a statement. Yes. Okay. So let's go to B3 Tunde, because the people that have been organizing around Yes on 4 in Minneapolis, in fact, issued a statement regarding Chief Arenado's press conference, in which in their tweet they said, Chief Arenado used city resources to spread misinformation about question 2. And you guys, again, let me be very clear. Like, the issue of question 2 about rewriting the city's charter, it is not even in the organizing spaces out there in Minneapolis. Like, everybody's not on the same page with this. Like, they are not all in favor of this. But this is a case to me. Shut up, a lady 747. I am not in Walmart. Y'all are hilarious. To me, this is a case of actually something better than nothing, right? And I'm cool with something, because nothing has gotten us what we have been getting for decades, at least people in Minneapolis, right? And lots of us in lots of places around the country. So I'm cool with doing something, because the status quo is just not going to get it. But I want to hear directly from the people, the Yes on 4 Minneapolis folks. They issued this statement in response to Chief Arenado's grossly inappropriate and, dare I say, unethical press conference this week.
My name is Karina Smith, and I'm the campaign manager for Yes for Minneapolis. Today, Minneapolis Police Chief Arredondo, campaigning in uniform, an explicit contradiction of the policy he himself wrote last year, is one of many examples revealed in his press conference today. Why structural change is imperative to keep the people of Minneapolis safe and to implement an accountable and transparent relationship with those who are called to protect and serve. Chief Arredondo denies there is a work slowdown that Reuters has confirmed, has failed to discipline a single officer since the murder of George Floyd, including the officers in the horrific Stallings video, who he praised and who are now retired and living on the city's fully funded police department. Chief Arredondo is right. Our city is flatlining, and we ask too much of our police officers, all because our current approach to public safety is not working. It's not working for police officers and not for Minneapolis residents. The city has put hundreds of millions of dollars into our armed police-only model this year alone, more than what we've ever spent, yet the outcomes don't match. Chief Arredondo said it is wholly unbearable to have an accountable and transparent relationship with the rest of the city. We imagine that it would be wholly unbearable to be stuck governing a department with the lack of public trust and heinous abuses of power that we've seen from the Minneapolis Police Department, including murdered people on camera and hunted people like a sport with little fear of accountability. Voting yes on question 2 is a concrete plan to get the police officers the support that they need to sustain and expand on the strategies we know work for intervention and prevention, and finally have a coordinated and well-integrated Department of Public Safety with the staff, budget, resources to keep every community safe. We encourage voters to get informed, and you can read more at yesforminneapolis.org/the-plan. Thank you.
Yeah, one of the things that Chief Arredondo and Luke Kang, y'all in the chat making fun of my awful Spanish name pronunciations. Y'all stop it. That's not nice. Chief Arredondo, Chief Stephen Fetchit during his press conference actually had the audacity to say that he has not seen the plan regarding Yes on 2, and he said that he would accept it written on a napkin because he was just wholly disrespectful. So anyway, we will find out what the outcome of that ballot measure vote will be tomorrow. Well, yeah, then fuck it. We'll talk about it tomorrow on the Remix Morning Show on Black Power Media. How about that? Real quick. Thank you so much, Latif. Latif says, dope episode, Kim. Keep up the great coverage. Big up, chat. Latif, did you vote already or did you vote early in Virginia? And if you didn't vote for Princess Blanding, I don't want to hear it. Shout out to shit. Sorry.
All right, everybody, I got her muted just for the time being until the dogs calm down. All right, I think we're back.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Kill. Anna Hart says, I missed the show last week and I promised when I got paid. Oh, Anna Hart, that's so kind of you. Thank you so much, darling. I appreciate that, y'all. Thank you guys so much for your support. And yes, Smokey and Bagheera are very ecstatic about the content that we're providing here. By the way, real quick, I see we have 98 people rocking with us live. Hello, gang. What's going on? Welcome to the BIDWKB Fire Fam chat. This is the hottest, most rockinest chat on YouTube, baby. Make no mistake about it. So get in where you fit in. Say what's up. Drop us an emoji. Give us a flame emoji. Give us something. And most importantly, give us some likes. Thank you, Chuck Diesel. Where is Chuck Diesel ass? Chuck Diesel's supposed to be in here whipping up these likes for me. We're going to have to talk to Chuck Diesel. I'm going to have a conversation with Chuck Diesel after the show. But anyway, thank you all so much for your support. Last topic, guys, and there's actually been a bit of breaking news regarding the situation at the Blackburn takeover on the campus of Howard University over these past 2 weeks and some change. Students there have formed a very impressive resistance against what they say are inhumane conditions at the university, specifically in campus housing, especially when it comes to issues regarding mold. It comes to water problems. The mold has been the big thing, though. The kids have been, and I say kids respectfully. These are whole ass adults. These are actually rather remarkable adults, but I say kids because I am an auntie, and so anyway, henceforth the kids have been whipping big ass in terms of being able to, number one, organize themselves, organize support for their resistance, and most importantly, really in earnest, trying to form a very important dialogue with the university administration, and they are being rebuffed at every turn. And this is not going to be cute for the administration at Howard University. And guys, I'm wondering if we should lead with the breaking news. Because, I mean, first of all, yeah, fuck it. Tuna, do you have that tweet? All right. So Molly sent this to me since we have been on air. Okay. So again, students have taken over the Blackburn down at the campus of Howard University. They have been demanding, they have lots of demands, and we're going to get actually into the students' demands. We're going to check out a press conference that the students gave 2 days ago over on Black Star Network. But do we have that up? Yep. Who's my Denise? Yeah. Oh, yes, my babies. Oh my goodness. Hi, Denise. Hi, boys. What's going on, Junior? What's up, Ryan? Yeah. I'm sorry. Those are my people from Philly listening. Yes, thank you so much. That makes me excited. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Denise. You don't even know what you just made my day. Howard University, you guys, tweeted this out today. What time does that come out, Tunde? Auntie can't see the time code. What's that say? Oh, they tweeted out this morning. Okay. So, yes, there. Oh, thank you. See, Thank you, Tunde. Yes. Howard University tweeted this out 10 o'clock this morning. HU Daily Update. We are sad to report the occupation of Blackburn has led to an unintended consequence for the Howard University community. Due to the cafe being closed. Sorry, am I muted?
All right. Having a dog timeout. We'll be back here in a sec, folks. All right.
Okay. I'm sorry. Yes.
It was actually about an hour ago.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Why does it say, because it was on Molly's time. Molly screenshotted it from Europe. That's why I'm like, okay, yes, okay, but it makes sense now. And I apologize, y'all. And let me shout out, big up all y'all who have human children, for fuck's sake. Jesus Christ, the dogs are enough. I can't imagine if the motherfuckers could speak. Anyway, Howard University said that we're sad to report the occupation of Blackburn has led to an unintended consequence for the HU community due to the cafe being closed. Some Sodexo workers, which you guys probably know what Sodexo is, they're food service provider that a lot of places use, right? Some Sodexo workers have been laid off. We're committed to working with our students to avoid more repercussions like this one. That is fucked up on two fronts. Fucked up that the Sodexo workers, who I'm sure are hourly workers, lost their jobs. I'm sure they did not have to lose their jobs, right? And it's very fucked up for the Howard University administration to lay this at the feet of the kids, man. The kids, it's the kids' fault that the university didn't have its shit together to start the semester to make sure that the campus housing and residential life was humanly acceptable. It's the kids' fault that they had the audacity to speak up and speak out for themselves and advocate for themselves. You're gonna blame this on the kids? What kind of endowment is Howard University sitting on? Goddamn it! That's the shit I should have done my goddamn Googles on, because I know Howard. All these black colleges be crying broke, but I know Howard is probably the least brokest of the HBCUs, right? Howard's sitting on a nice little pretty penny or something. Not to the extent that they had to let some, I'm sure, part-time hourly wage workers go. That is deplorable and disgusting. But guys, I want us to move this along because we are already a tad bit in overtime, but this is important because some important shit has happened down at the campus of Howard University. Obviously, you all know, if you don't already, that Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. visited with the students yesterday, and consequently, Reverend Jackson took a fall, hit his head. He's currently hospitalized at Howard University Hospital. The 80-year-old civil rights leader, according to his people, had a CT scan, which indicated that he was not seriously injured, which is good. But you don't want 80-year-olds slipping and falling and hitting their head, period. Especially Bama's with Parkinson's, especially Bama's recovering from COVID. So shout out to Reverend Jackson for literally putting his health on the line to go out there and show support and solidarity with these kids. So I want us to get along to what the children, again, I say children respectfully because they could be my children in theory. What the children have actually been demanding. So they gave a press conference 2 days ago on Black Star Network. I think that might be Rolly Roll. Is that Rolly's? Is that Roland Martin's show? I think it is. So hopefully Rolly won't hit us with a copyright claim on this show because we try to spread the word out here, Rolly. Be nice. C1 at your convenience, Tunde. So we're going to hear from a couple of students. One of them, so the first student I think we're going to hear from is Erica English. She is one of the student organizers. The second person you're going to see is going to be a older black man. He is the attorney that is representing the students' interests and sitting in the negotiations between the students and the university administrators. And the last one is another student organizer. Her first name is Channing. Her last name escapes me right now. But all this is available on Black Star Network. They got a YouTube channel out here. But this is important shit because you're going to hear the kids articulate the demands. Most importantly, you're going to hear what the attorney is going to explain to y'all what the university's whole posture has been. And it's been this. it's been double middle fingers to the kids. That has been the university's entire posture low these past 2.5 weeks. And now some hourly food service workers were laid off, and the university has the audacity to blame the children. So, Tunde, let's take a look at that press conference put on by Howard students.
I would say that the protest is what made Howard finally pay attention and finally start to move. But my question is, why weren't these things in place before students came back for the fall semester? Why is it just now that people are paying attention to the mold issue on campus? Why did it take a cyber attack for the school to realize that their infrastructure for Wi-Fi wasn't that great to begin with? Students are still having to walk down the street to the local McDonald's and Starbucks to log into class because their Wi-Fi keeps going in and out. The number of mold cases that has been reported, I don't think is accurately reflecting the real story and the real cases. Just from inside of Blackburn alone, 6 students have said that they have had mold in their rooms. There is no way that there's only 34 cases that's being reported when 6 of them are inside of Blackburn. Our protests, if anything, helped students because they finally got them the attention and the care that they needed. Something that our university and our administration and our board should have been paying attention to before we ever stepped foot on campus.
We asked them for a meeting on Thursday. There was no response. We asked them for a meeting to follow up on that. We asked them for a meeting today. On behalf of the students, we indicated that we would be willing to meet tonight at 8 o'clock and that we had to stay all night at the negotiating table, that we would do that. There's not been a response now. They've gone from not negotiating to not communicating with the students at all regarding any kind of negotiations. The students have 4 demands, and those 4 demands include what we talked about, which is amnesty. But in addition to that, what you heard regarding affiliate trustees. And they asked for a housing protocol that would protect the students. And the beautiful thing about what the students asked for, they're not asking for themselves. They're asking to put in something in play so that this doesn't happen again for future students. And the last thing is that they wanted to have a meeting with the chair of the board and the president with the students. So as we speak today, we're at an impasse and we're awaiting to hear from the university.
So they've gone and cleaned, and students who've had mold in their rooms who are sleeping in this building said that somebody came to remediate the issue of the mold and picked up a mushroom and threw it in the trash. Or they came and wiped down the counters with bleach. However, we all know that mold is not necessarily a surface level issue, but issue where you may have to take up the carpets and look for a growth and look for a source and look for a causation and study the foundation of the issue. And the mold is not just a mold in a physical mold in the dorms that they have yet to remediate, that they claim to have remediated, but will not make public exactly how they've done that, with what organizations they've done that, and with what resources they've done it by. They have not made public what buildings exactly were investigated to have mold, and all of these buildings on campus are very old. This mold is almost a metaphor for the infestation that's happening in Howard's administration. It's like the surface level picture. It's the ugliness growing outwards in such a physical way.
Powerful words there from the students and from their legal representation down at Blackburn Takeover. Shout out to Big Teal. Big Teal says there's a really good piece on Hood Communist blog the neo-colonial collusion between HBCUs in the state. Big Teal said that's a must read, then we must read it. Dave G came through with the numbers on Howard University's endowment. $712 million as of 2020. Dave G, I'm holding you to that, my fact checker in the chat. That's a grip. That's a grip. And of course, you know, here we have told you via reporting from folks like Chuck Modiano, who has been covering this really the entire time. Chuck spoke with students who uncovered that Howard is in this 40-year contract of property management with this company Corvius, which has a very dubious at best reputation of being extremely neglectful, dare I say trifling, of the properties that it has managed, from military bases to apartment complexes. And Howard University entrusted this company that has been sued numerous times for mismanagement and health code violations to oversee its residential housing, which is incredible. So the last thing I want you guys to hear is going to be from Chuck Modiano, because again, Chuck has been out there doing his Chuck thing, doing a fantastic job of covering this at the students' request. Chuck will tell you. So, like I said, Reverend Jackson was there last night, and we're going to see the tail end of his engagement with the students. He spoke to the students for over an hour, and then we're going to hear reaction from one of the students who was there at Blackburn listening to Reverend Jackson and what it meant for her. And again, think about it, guys. These kids are young, 18, 19 years old. I'm sure they don't really have a very good grasp or the knowledge of the depth of Jesse Jackson's Ranger work. Love him or hate him, done the dogs on time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand that Jesse is absolutely a corporate organizer, post his street organizing and political organizing ways. But we will put respect on Jesse Jackson's name out here in these streets. And I'm very appreciative that he made time to show solidarity with the children. So anyway, let's take a listen of Jesse Jackson with the kids last night at HU Blackburn Takeover.
Together. Keep hope. Keep hope. Alive. Never surrender. Never surrender. Keep hope. Alive. Hold out. Hold out. Hold on. Hold on. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
Thank God. Thank God that somebody hears us. Thank God for my community. I feel so affirmed. The students in here, their morals are boosted. And Reverend Jackson came to pray over us. We can last one more day. We can last 2 more days, because the stories that he told, the example that he set, all he asked of us is that we withstand, that we endure. I have no reason not to get up. I have no reason not to fight. I'm only following in the footsteps of the ancestors who are still supporting us to this day, of those who have come before us, of the trailblazers. We only here because of Reverend Jesse Jackson. And to see him show up for us, we will last however long it takes to make sure that not only our voices are heard, but the voices of Black students across America are heard, and that all the way up from the hilltop to the hill, and funding for HBCUs are secured.
And is there anything specifically in the conversation that resonated with you that he said?
He said, we deserve first-class education. He said the White House is public housing. Howard University has public housing, so we deserve the White House. Ain't nobody ever told me I deserve the White House. There's students in here who ain't never been told that they're deserving. And Reverend Jesse Jackson says we deserve, then we deserve, and we're going to keep fighting till we get to what we deserve.
You know, guys, you have to keep in mind, and I think a lot of us that are in this space, we understand this, that, you know, HBCUs are not there to form new radical revolutionaries, right? They are neoliberal incubators of what they hope that upwardly mobile Black people should be and what they ought to be. And a lot of y'all were asking in the chat, what's up with some of them famous HU alums? Ta-Nehisi Coates, what's up? Rihanna Nicole Jones, what's going on? Taraji P. Henson, what's happening? And that's true. I have not heard much from the famous alumni of Howard University, but the infamous, the radical alumni of Bison's past have absolutely been standing up and speaking out on behalf of the kids, and so have a lot of the administrators who agree with them. Please follow Greg Carr. Greg Carr is one of those professors who are, like I said, there's a bunch of them who are in absolute solidarity with the students and with their demands, because at the end of the day, the kids are not asking for the world. Like, they're just asking for the bare minimum. And it's really fucked up that their own people are treating them the way that the rest of the world treats us, right? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, how dare you not accept this substandard accommodation? Like, why are you complaining? Like, you should be happy just to be here, right? No. We deserve better, and we deserve better now. And so please, like I said, go to Black Star Network. If you find that video, because I think it says like Howard University press conference, and it's like from 2 days ago, it has all the Cash App and support information there if you want to help the students, because I know they are still very much trying to live, like survive out there in tents as it gets colder here in the nation's capital. So if you're able to support the kids, kick them a little something, please do so. Northern Witch, thank you so much for kicking us a little something. Northern Witch said it's for my nephews. And yes, yes. Thank you so much, Northern Witch. Oh my gosh, it just made my day that my nephews are watching. So they're just, yes. So anyway, guys, that's the show. Please thank Tunde and Molly for staying 17 minutes over while I ran my mouth just a little bit longer. Guys, don't forget, we are kicking off our subscriber drive to keep that flame a-burning. Let's keep that ganja smoking, keep it rolling. Do us a favor, share Burn It Down with Kim Brown content on your social media networks. Tag us, tag the people that you know begin to follow us because of your recommendation. We're trying to get these subscribers up on YouTube. We're trying to get over 1,700 followers on Twitter, and whatever the fuck Facebook is doing. I don't know what Facebook is doing. It's doing something. Anyway, so if y'all could just help us out for these next 2 weeks, we certainly appreciate it. But anyway, guys, that is our time. Join me tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. for the Remix Morning Show over on Black Power Media. We're probably going to be recapping some of these election races and talk about some other black shit. So we need to see y'all up in the place and do that. So on behalf of me, Tunde and Molly, I had to remember who's on the team. On behalf of me, Tunde and Molly, thank you all so much for showing up. See y'all later. Bye bye. See ya.